What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of Loot Chest on Tasty Loot Gaming. In case you don't know, Loot Chest is a show where we talk about a random topic in gaming. My name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
And typically on Loot Chest, we talk about random ideas, but there's been some breaking news, and I think we need to talk about it. So, Phil Spencer from the Xbox division of Microsoft has actually come out recently and said that they're actually dropping out of the console race. The Xbox One isn't making the money that they want to be making, and they figure it's time to go handheld. So, when talking about the Xbox One going away, I mean, he's quoted by saying, doesn't make sense. And the handheld is actually going to be called the Xbox, or Xbone 0.5. Mm-hmm. And they say that at least when it's sitting in your closet, it'll take up less room.
That's actually pretty fair.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I understand, too, it's a handheld, but it plays discs.
Yeah.
Yeah, how fucking crazy is that? You never fucking think you'd ever see a handheld.
Well, they want you to be able to back catalog your Xbox One game or Xbox One games, so you're not wasting the games you already have. But they're going a safer route because the Xbox is failing so bad. And like I said, it's collecting dust in the closet. It'll be taking up less room than your Xbox.
Yeah, and they said you can actually use it like one of those fucking shitty Pac-Man games with just the joystick. You just plug it into the TV. So you can actually use it like that. So, yeah. I mean, it's just a handheld console, pretty much.
Okay. Actually, the real topic we're going to be talking about today is earliest games that we got addicted to. So this is a loot chest. That was a little bit of a... That's actually real news. Look it up. I'm sure you'll find it. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the earliest games we remember that actually like made us want to fucking play them. So like... We've been playing games since we were kids. Mm-hmm. Played Atari, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, grew up with that, Super Nintendo, all that shit. And I've loved gaming forever, but there was a specific game in my history of gaming that I legit had a problem with, and I needed to fucking play it. And you have some as well. Mm-hmm. So let's jump into that. So the first game ever to do this to me, I remember I was young. And the game had just come out, and the fucking buzz was so fucking huge. The game back then actually sold the fuck out. You couldn't get it for a while. Mm-hmm. This is when pre-orders actually mattered. Games would actually disappear. So you had to pre-order them to get them when they first came out. Otherwise, you have to wait for them to make more. And this game is GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. I remember first playing it and just being so fucking into... like the best FPS I've ever played in my fucking life at the time.
Yeah.
Shooting people, hit locations actually showed up with the blood dots or whatever. Now it looks like shit.
Yeah,
but
they're red smear.
You go and fucking they're like, just like red
pretty
spots
intense
everywhere.
having, yeah. If you just light someone up and all of a sudden their whole face is just red.
Yeah. I played the second level with the scientists. I was like, I can shoot fucking civilians.
Yeah.
You shoot through windows and destroy them. And I know this doesn't sound that great nowadays, but back then, this was fucking top
huge.
Fucking tier shit. Yeah. Tier 1, baby.
Mm-hmm. Guns had bullet penetration because some guns would go through the windows.
Yep.
But like the Moonraker laser and the Magnum would fire through doors and through fucking windows. And you could kill people on fucking other side.
Well, and like the variety of weapons, the amount of fucking maps in it, and that's not even bringing in multiplayer.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got
all the
my hands on multiplayer.
Characters, all the crazy cheats you could do if you fucking beat the single missions in a certain time, doing certain things. You know, it is such expansive, the modes. And
there's also like multiple ways you could go on some levels too. Like on the dam level, you could like go like in these weird areas and check them out and shit. And there's like, it was like the future of fucking FPS at the time for sure. And I was so fucking, I didn't get my hands on an actual copy. I wasn't able to buy it for a while, but I was so fucking into the game that my grandma actually would rent the game over and over and over for me because I wanted it so bad, and I was fucking spoiled. I was like, I want to play it. So we just kept locking it down. And back in the day when you actually had to go to a place to rent things, they didn't have a whole lot of copies, so other people there just never got to play the game because of me until I got a fucking copy myself. But that's how I knew no other game before that was like that fucking, I needed to play it that bad. I still have really fond memories, as everyone does, of that game. That game's one of the best FPSs in the history of FPSs. So yeah, that's my first one that I'm gonna mention.
Actually, quick fun fact.
Yeah.
So GoldenEye laid down the groundwork for Perfect Dark. Pretty much made
Same
Perfect
engine.
Dark what it is. Perfect Dark was the very first game to actually use a reload animation,
Really?
and that's where most of the reload animations come from today.
Was there no reload animations in GoldenEye?
In GoldenEye, they went. Ch-ch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they never like. Yeah, but in Perfect Dark, you can see her actually reload the gun. So that was kind of a fun little tidbit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that.
My first, the game I needed to play, I really wanted to play, really got me kind of locked down in gaming in general, was Donkey Kong Country.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved that game too.
Back then, every year for Christmas, my grandma ordered me the subscription of Nintendo Power.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I used to get those too.
They used to send you shit with those all the fucking time. Around Christmas, they gave you like a catalog to get, swag and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Before Donkey Kong Country came out, they actually sent a tape, like a VHS tape. It was green, and it was like 35 minutes long, but it was like a dev diary. And like a little bit of like showing what Donkey Kong Country is, and its use of the FX chip to make 3D and shit like that. A lot like what Star Fox used. And some neat tidbits about the fucking game. And I was like, I need this fucking game. I need it bad. And and yeah, so from that day forward, I saved all my fucking money. My allowance back then was like $5 a week, and which as a kid that was a lot. But of course that was back in 1990 fucking 3 or 4. So,
yeah,
I mean,
it was a while ago.
Yeah, $5 went a little bit further, but yeah. So I saved just tooth and nail, boom, 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 and sure enough, on release day I missed the first wave.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get to pre-order it because my grandma was just like, you don't need to pre-order it. There'll be plenty. There wasn't plenty.
This is what people nowadays are spoiled to, man. Like pre-orders now is just like get some swag.
Yeah, that's what a pre-order is now.
They learned so many lessons from back in the day.
You're not like cementing your copy of the game.
Yeah. You're
cementing bonuses for the game. But yeah, you had to be on that list, man. And yeah, so I rented it, and then I never returned it. And we went to the video store, and they're like, we're like, yeah, we kind of had a problem. We had some friends come over, and all of a sudden this game went missing. And they're like, well, damn it. Well, it's like $60 to replace, and I had saved up that much. Even though games were $70 back then.
That's fucking crazy.
I know, for a cartridge.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I forked over the $60, and I got to play Donkey Kong Country.
You got your copy?
Yeah, it was like I mean, it wasn't like a super gnarly 2D platformer like. It was one, but it wasn't like a groundwork laying one like Mario 3 or anything like that.
Or Mega Man.
Yeah, but it back then to me, man, it was the most amazing thing ever. I mean, there was fucking hidden shit all over the place.
It was really good. I remember when I first played it.
All the stages were all very different, or the worlds, I should say, were all very different. It was very Mario-esque. But yeah, it was. I just remember having so much fun with it, and my brother being pissed because he had to be Diddy because I only wanted to play Donkey Kong. The cheat code BARRAL spelled barrel. Gave you 50 lives, and then there's fucking Donkey Kong's skanky fucking girlfriend. Is that a sister? Anyway, saved your game. I don't know. The game was rad. I remember it being rad. I had to play it. I wanted to play it just constantly. Even after I beat it again. Like, I was just like, this is fucking awesome. So yeah, so that probably was what really kicked off.
It was a lot earlier than mine because I played all those games. I loved them when I played them, but yeah, like GoldenEye was just like the first game that like felt like drugs. Yeah, like, I have to fucking have this game. Honorable mention because it's not quite the same, but when I first played Duke Nukem 3D or whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, like being able to turn the lights off and on and like
just do
all this weird random shit, I was fucking blown away by
like
that.
exponential shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like is pretty commonplace in games now. Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, you can like fucking hit pinball machines and they do shit. Or you'd shoot a fucking pool ball and it would move and like just shit like that. I was like, I gotta keep playing this game. It seems fucking amazing. And then there's, of course, you know, fucking the M-rated type shit. That was like, I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
And fucking, it's cool.
Shake it, baby. And fucking give it.
It's so
20.
ridiculous now. Yeah. But not quite the same as when I fucking played GoldenEye. My second game that I'd have to bring up as being a game I had to play and fucking played a shitload of is the original Halo. I remember when it came out, it was a launch title, and at that time no one fucking knew or cared about Halo.
Yeah.
I looked at the case, I'm like, this game looks
barely anybody
stupid.
fucking knew about what the Xbox was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The case just had some generic looking fucking space dude and a bunch of soldiers like Combat Evolved. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I played, I'm like, holy fuck.
This is Combat Evolved.
This is the best. It defined. Fucking GoldenEye made FPSs possible on console, but fucking Halo fucking locked it in on like FPSs play perfectly fine on console to a competitive level.
Yeah.
I remember playing the single player cooperative back then too, which is huge. But the multiplayer, of course, the multiplayer. I was so fucking obsessed with it. I mean, we would skip fucking school with a bunch of friends, bring a bunch of Xboxes to fucking one house, have like 4 TVs with 4 different Xboxes all fucking hooked up, wires fucking everywhere, fucking.
The Mountain Dew was a flowing back
fucking
then,
yeah, it was a different time. I remember at my last job, fucking some guy's like, "You ever LAN partied?" I was like, "Yeah, a lot."
We have.
He's like, "I really want to try it." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I don't know. I just feel like
trying to get that fucking retro feel or what?"
I was like, "Well, the internet pretty much already does that for you now, man. You don't need to. You don't have to go through all the fucking problems of cords and shit, make sure everything's plugged in correctly."
So I will say there's a certain kind of charm to like just gaming with all your friends in the same room.
It's akin to couch co-op.
Yeah,
because you can just yell at somebody from across the room or whatever. And there's that weird shenanigans.
It's nice to have your own screen instead of fucking like when we used to LAN with Corey with Alien vs Predator.
Yeah,
like that was super fun. Yeah, no, fucking Halo was gnarly. Like that was. You're right. That like the title I got with my Xbox was Morrowind. I didn't get Halo at first, but
God, Morrowind was so fucking good. I was obsessed with that game too.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually probably an honorable mention for me.
Honorable mention for me too. That's actually locked in. I was completely addicted to that game. Yeah, I couldn't stop playing it.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, it's fucking. I spent a whole summer on it. Yeah, but Halo did something that no one else has ever done ever. I remember we talked about this in the past video. I remember looking at the grass and thinking like, "Holy shit, that's grass."
Yeah.
You know, doing weird shit with the driving the warthogs was fucking cool because there's not.
It was a game where you could shoot people and also jump in vehicles. Yeah. And drive around. Like there's so many advanced things in it.
The fucking enemies were like fun and everything was kind of colorful and it had a neat story. You know, you're just in on a Halo. I mean, but it's like a fucking. I fucking remember looking. I'm like, man, this is fucking rad.
The game was a wealth of creativity. Like there's so many good fucking ideas, and not all of them were original. I mean, like the shooting and jumping in vehicles thing had been done in Tribes already, but Tribes wasn't mainstream, still isn't. I mean, Halo really took all those ideas, really harnessed them, and made it into a complete package. I think everybody could fucking get into. I think that is behind the success of Halo as a whole.
Yeah, it did make FPSs very accessible for a lot of people.
Before that, I was playing like Quake and shit on PC. Like.
Yeah, and it kind of slowed him down too because Quake's very hyper. Quake's very looking around and fucking shooting a rocket up someone's ass and then rocket jump over here and fucking. Yep. But Halo wasn't really like that. I mean, the battles are fast and furious and shit like that, but it's not to the point where your fucking head is on a swivel just constantly. So that was one of the first games where like it kind of slowed down the genre that I remember.
Yeah, but not to a point where it's tactical. I mean, like,
exactly.
And bringing in the melee combat too into an FPS is really an interesting touch and is a defining factor of Halo now.
Yeah, and especially with like the shields.
Yeah.
Shields and regenerating health was something that wasn't really heard of.
And kind of made sense with the whole Spartan thing too, because these guys are also buff that you're shooting at each other, but then once you get close enough, you just fucking
rail them,
deck them out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kills them. It had like stealth kills from the back, so if you hit them from the back, they just instantly die instead of taking 2 hits. And I remember it was one of the first games, like FPS wise, where you can change your controller settings. Like there was like instead of, I forgot what the left trigger was, but you can change that into fucking hit, and shit like that.
For more brawling type.
Yeah, you know. In fact, I think that setup's called Boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was super rad.
But because of all the things that it introduced that are so complex now, laying the groundwork for the future, playing that for the first time, especially coming into that surprise, like GoldenEye had some fucking hype behind it. They were talking about that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then it came out, I was like, this game's amazing. Halo just fucking came out, and I was like, that game looks dumb. And I played it, I'm like, I was so fucking wrong.
Yeah.
This game's amazing.
I'm glad
everyone agreed.
I'm glad I was wrong.
Then Halo 2 came out, and it was one of the best FPSs ever made.
Yeah, we literally left school one day, went to the mall, and then fucking stayed there literally all night.
Yep.
And went home and stayed up all night. Yeah, so I mean...
Yeah, Halo was one of the many reasons why I would leave school.
Dude, Halo 2 has some of the better like multiplayer moments that I can think of. That was back when I was slush puppies.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But not to make the whole episode about Halo, that is, for obvious reasons, one of my gaming addictions when I was younger, and I actually kind of miss that feeling of wanting to play games so fucking bad, especially with the climate of games now, and there's so many fucking games I don't have time to fucking... And all games are addictive nowadays. They've got it fucking down to a science.
Yeah.
Every game has something in it to keep you fucking playing it. There's unlocks, there's things to work towards, all that shit. And it's really impressive when a game can keep you locked in without having unlocks and progression and shit. Yeah. Halo is just a fucking fun game. But yeah, what's another one you got?
I walked into a game store back when I was younger, and I remember seeing Super Mario 64 for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And I was completely blown away. My little brain back in '96 or whatever the fuck it was, couldn't fathom that fucking there was a 3D Mario. I can run around and do whatever the fuck I want in these little worlds. So I fucking begged the shit out of my parents, and I didn't get a birthday that year, but fucking Christmas was the old 64 fucking Christmas. So and I got Mario because that was the launch title for it. Back when consoles came with fucking games.
You can buy bundles now.
Yeah, but I mean that's bundles. It's not.
They weren't trying to change the landscape from video game consoles or toys, so we're trying to fucking get them everywhere. So here's games with them. To nowadays they're so standard. The fucking
but to me that did revolutionize like 3D movement.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In an open world.
I remember the warnings before you play the game. It's like, this can give you motion sickness. I was like, what?
Yeah.
These games can hurt you?
Yeah,
They're so good?
Yeah, it was like those old fucking... It was really counter... And it was like, now that I think about it now, it's like there'd be those old games and it's just flashing, but it's fucking like, don't play this game because it might make you go into epilepsy fucking into seizures. And the warning's flashing, like...
There was warnings directly too before I even got to really play the game too much. Just like in the swimming and flying areas, you know, if you feel sick, stop playing. Yeah. I was like, there's swimming and flying areas. This is fucking dope.
Yeah, and going back to Nintendo Power, they had like this huge fucking like 30-page spread on the N64 and Conker's. You know, back when Conker wasn't bad for it.
Conker 64.
Yeah, it was just and then. You know, all these sweet games that are coming, fucking Banjo-Kazooie and shit like that.
That's a good one, too.
Goemon, The Legend of Goemon. or Mystical Ninja. You know, just shit like that. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. But Mario was the one where I was like, oh my god, because he was swimming, and I was like, well, Mario's actually swimming, and he has like a health bar, and it brought so many new, unique things to Mario.
Seems like there's a common thing here, aside from the Donkey Kong Country thing, even though it was revolutionary, but it seems like all of our picks are like the big wow moments that we weren't expecting as gamers at the time, and it was so fucking big of a surprise that excitement for there's nothing else like this kind of drove that addiction level.
Funny story, when my grandma went to come in to pull me out of that game store, I was so upset I started crying. And then I told the clerk she wasn't my grandmother. Because I wanted to sit there and watch him play.
Damn, you sold your grandma out to fucking check that game
Oh,
out.
yeah. If that was like, and then my grandma was like, enough of your bullshit. And she just fucking grabbed me and fucking we walked away.
Fucking A.
But like, man, if that was like nowadays, fuck, they would have called the cops and all sorts of shit.
Should have been all over YouTube.
Yeah.
Fucking,
I was like,
watch this person kidnap this child.
yeah. I was like, no, and I was dragging my feet and trying to yank her back.
That's how good that game is.
Yeah, and then I was like, she's not my grandmother.
That's fucking hardcore.
Yeah, dude, I was ready to throw her in jail, so I can watch fucking Mario 64 a little bit longer.
It's also really interesting that 3 out of 4 of these games are Nintendo games. This is kind of the reason why I have such a problem with Nintendo nowadays. I always come off as a hater of Nintendo, but there was a time where I fucking loved Nintendo to death.
There was a time when Nintendo was literally on top, and there was a reason for it.
Like, they had new and innovative and really great ideas, and all the principles they have now of fun and you know, friends and just enjoying gaming, they're still there, but the ideas aren't there, and they've gotten lazy, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to make this about Nintendo, but it's just really interesting how, like, some of the games that revolutionized gaming for us growing up were Nintendo games, and it wasn't even like it was a fucking fluke. They were on their shit from Super Nintendo to fucking 64. 64, I think, is one of the greatest consoles ever fucking made.
Exactly.
Had a great fucking lineup, just full of fucking great games.
That was like one of the first consoles that like came with accessories that people actually bought. You know, that wasn't fucking
Nintendo's always been
Super
accessory
Scope
heavy.
6 or something like that. But it was like you had the Rumble Pack, you had that fucking
This is the Rumble Pack.
to play Majora's Mask, you had to have that RAM booster. Whatever the thing was the expansion pack. You know, so there was like the Rumble Pack, the memory
Had like
cards.
2 megabytes of fucking RAM or some shit.
Yeah, but like it was like one of the first games that was very consoles that was very
Modular.
expansive. Yeah, and like you can change shit on it. It
Yeah.
was the first time like something plugged into the fucking controller and.
It's interesting how now they just release a new console, the fucking PS4K, which I'm buying. But yeah, I think the last modular console we really got was fucking Dreamcast.
Yeah,
It's a very Japanese thing to create things afterwards and then just add on to it. They would make the consoles with ports ready for new shit.
Sega's, you can create a fucking monstrosity with fucking
Sega CD, Sega Genesis,
CD, the
fucking
Genesis, and then you can add the fucking Game Genies and all sorts of shit.
No, I had the whole fucking brick, dude. It was like a fucking whole console.
Yeah.
Just shit. It's funny how the Sega CD was like this box with a platform under it.
Yeah.
You put your fucking Sega Genesis on there. It was dope.
Yeah, and then they even had like some shit where you fucking plugged all that in on top. And there was a bunch of drawers to put on all your fucking games and that. Yeah, you're right. It must be a Japanese thing because the fucking Sega CD, because the Sega had a whole bunch of weird shit to it.
Yeah. Any honorable mentions? We're running out of time though.
Okay, quick honorable mention was Morrowind. That game revolutionized fantasy for me. I literally spent a whole summer playing it. I barely went out of my room at my dad's house for that summer. It was fucking, that game is gnarly. Doesn't hold your hand, and I loved every fucking second of it. I wasn't doing shit. I was frustrated that I couldn't find this fucking cave, because in your journal it's like, oh yeah, it's over the river and take a right. But fucking, no one tells you have to go miles out before you take that right. You know, so, but yeah, it was fun, exploration. I mean, it scratched a lot of itches that a lot of other games just didn't scratch.
Quick honorable mention for me for Medal of Honor, Allied Assault. I was super fucking into that game. The D-Day level blew my fucking mind. I'm super into World War II, so that was at the time amazing. The original Call of Duty and Modern Warfare, both those games when they came out, and Call of Duty 2. There was a time when Call of Duty fucking wowed people, and those are the games. I couldn't believe you could achieve that kind of visceral experience in a fucking game. Mostly FPSs. It would have been nice to have maybe Chevy on this to bring in some RPG things. Final Fantasy VII, I didn't play it personally that much, though. I watched Chevy play when I was a kid, so I can't really say I was addicted to it.
That's an addictive game for a lot of people.
For a lot of people, for sure. But, I mean, in that, let us know in the comments below, what game was your first video game addiction? What game could you not put down? You had to keep playing. I'm sure there's plenty of them. Try and think of in the past, though, because all games nowadays are meant to be addictive, so they keep you there. Games back then, though, they just had to be fucking great. They had to strive and be better than the rest of the games. But let us know. I really want to know. I'm curious. But that's going to do it for this episode of Loot Chest on Taste of Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Check out our many other episodes that we've done. We are nearing 200 episodes. Fucking crazy. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Taste of Gaming. Check us out on Twitch, Sleep Division. As always, my name's Seth.
I'm fucking tired.
Thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Until then, take it easy, guys.